What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Hopefully you guys are having a great day. For me, it's been a pretty awesome day. I got to play hooky from work today because I had a delivery. It's Tuesday. And you're probably seeing this way late because I'm really bad at editing. But either way, it's Tuesday. My delivery is here and I want to share it with you guys. Oh, there's some big boxes. Now you may be familiar. If you pay attention, you can look at them and you can tell what they are. But we're going to open these up later. First, we're messing with old red. I gave it a wash today. I swapped the tires from the Civic onto it. I've just been kind of trying to clean it up. I gave it an oil change and stuff. I didn't film anything because rookie mistake. I keep making these. I forgot to charge my camera. So I didn't get any footage, but really all I did was swap some wheels around, change the oil, and just try to clean it up a bit. So I'm gonna give you a quick look at it now that it's somewhat looking better. It's washed and it has the better wheels on it. So let me turn the camera around. So here she is. I put the Civic wheels on it, LS meshes, with the new tires because the old tires were bald and worn. So got some fresh meats on there. Gave it a wash, just a quick little power wash and a little quick hand scrub. Nothing fancy, no detailing, no nothing like that. Just a quick wash. But yeah, she's looking a lot better. I need to get inside the car and clean the interior. It's filthy inside still. I was able to pop out this dent, which is nice. There was a dent here. Now you can't even notice it, so it looks a lot better. Either way, minus the old kind of like pinkish faded red color, it's looking a lot better. And I'm actually starting to really like this car. Now that the oil's changed, I don't feel so bad beating on it, so I took it for a couple rips. Definitely rips really good. It's got room for improvement, as always. But there's still some more issues that we need to basically work out. Upon investigating, kind of just looking around the car, seeing what it needed and stuff like that, I found a few things. The idle was really bad, would barely idle. I ended up cleaning the IAC valve, the idle air control valve. I cleaned that and found that it was unplugged. So I cleaned it, plugged it in. Idle's way better now. Actually seems to idle like it should. I haven't noticed any issues. Adjusted the throttle cable. The throttle cable was a bit too tight and was causing some idle issues. So adjusted that. Seems to idle like it should. Like I said, it goes down to about 750, and it's a lot easier to drive now because it's not constantly stalling or running like bleh, 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 you know. So fix that. There's still a slight misfire. It's probably got fouled plugs. I haven't pulled them yet, but I noticed that the fuel pressure seems to be a little high. I don't know if the gauge is slightly off or not. I may try to adjust that down and see, but I'm not really worried too much about that yet until later when I might try to put a bung on it so I can get my wideband on it. Or I might pull the other O2 sensor out and put my wideband in it so I could just see what the air fuels are actually running. Because it's got a narrow band gauge that's useless. It's not really telling me anything. Let's see. I fixed a couple exhaust leaks. A bolt was missing. I'm sure the gasket needs replaced, but I put a new bolt in it, tightened it back up. It helped a lot until I can find a gasket. So I need to find a gasket and I'll swap that out later. Other than that, you know, I did notice that it needs a, there's a, on OBD2 Hondas, like USDM Hondas, there's the crank sensor that is ran by the oil pump area. The JDM OBD2 engines do not use that. So this is a JDM B20. It's a low compression B20B, I believe. And it doesn't have that sensor, so it's throwing a code because it's using the B18B LS USDM ECU. It's throwing a code for the crank sensor, basically the one that goes by the oil pump. So what I have to do is actually have to cut the wires from the ECU and then pin those, well, or bridge them to the camshaft positioning sensor or the other sensor, basically, so it gets a signal from that sensor instead. It's like a trick. So there's actually a website that shows you how to do it. So if you have a check engine light and you're getting code, I think it's 1337 or something like that, like I am, for the crankshaft positioning sensor or something like that, you have to do this trick on these when you're swapping in like OBD1 or JDM OBD2 engines and stuff like that that don't have a crank positioning sensor on the oil pump housing, or you have to swap the oil pump and all this stuff. I'm not dealing with that. So we're gonna basically probably tackle that real quick. From what I gathered, it's you get a wiring diagram, you find the pins you need, and then you just basically splice connect them with the crank, the other crank positioning sensor, or the cam positioning sensor, or whatever, and then you just cut them so that it gets the signal from the sensor and the distributor, and it does, and then it shares that signal to both places in the ECU or whatever, and makes it happy. So either way, like I said, the link will be in the description on that. So I'm going to get set up. We're going to try and knock that out real quick so we can get that code to go away. And then we're going to try to open these boxes and see what is inside. I hope you're excited. I'm really excited. I've been waiting like over a week for these things. Actually came really fast. Came from California and everything like that. I'm sure if you're really anxious and you Googled the number and the name by now, you already know what they are. But stay tuned because we're going to open them up here in a little bit. First, let's try to get this crank positioning fix done and everything like that. I'm gonna get set up. Alright guys, so here's my rat's nest of wiring. This is all for the blue box that runs the Grady kit that's up above the glove box. But this is the plug we're dealing with here. So you're gonna have to get a pin out for your vehicle and everything like that. But if you have an OBD2A, basically I can pull this up here. So here's the page that tells you about this fix and everything here, and it tells you JDM engines do not have a crank fluctuation sensor on the oil pump, so that is the reason why we're doing this. So if you have an OBD2A, which is anything 96 to 98 or 99 depending, usually 2000 and 2001 are the OBD2B, but either way, so we need to take the C1 pin and C4 pin and splice them two together. And we need to take the C11 and C14 pin and splice them together. So locating the wiring diagram here, we can just verify C1 is the blue/red, and that's your CKFP. So here's your C connector, and here's our number 1, because the pins are always going to be as if you're facing it like this and looking from behind. So this is 1 in the top left, and 2, then 3, then 4, etc., etc. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4 is the yellow, and 1 is the blue and red. So if we look here, 1 is the blue and red, and 4 is yellow. So that's just a way we can verify that we're looking at the plug properly. So basically what it's saying is we have to splice this blue and red wire, and this is kind of hard with one hand. We have to splice the blue and red wire to that yellow wire that I keep pushing down further. So these are the two wires for the first part that we have to splice together. And then after we splice these two together, we're going to then cut the wire behind this. So if we put our splice here, we're going to cut this blue and red wire here, because that leads into the engine bay and we need to disconnect it. So basically it just bridges off of the yellow wire and goes into the ECU in 2 spots. So we'll get that done, and then we'll go ahead and do the other wire. Alright guys, so here's our first connection done. As you can see, I've cut this wire that leads into the engine bay. It's no longer needed. So the yellow wire brings in the signal from the crank positioning sensor, or the, you know, whatever's in the distributor basically, and then it bridges off and goes into ECU, and it counts for the crank fluctuation sensor and the crank positioning sensor. So they both are the same type of sensor and read the same. So basically it's just a bypass feeding one signal into both spots and satisfying the ECU, and working around the fact that we don't have the sensor at the oil pump that it's looking for. So now we have to do one more. On this vehicle we have to do the C11 and C14. So we're going to go back to our chart and look, 11 and 14 should be right below these. So it should be, so looking at these wires here, it should be a white and red and a white, looks like. So it should be a white and red and a white. But if we come over here, we can verify. C11 is a white and red. C14 on the Integra is white. So the next connection is going to be made right here with this white and red and this white wire. Now I verified this because I looked at the harness in the engine bay, and that goes to the crank positioning sensor that's on the oil pump, and it was a blue and red and a white and red. So that's the correct sensors that, or wires that we need. So I'm going to go ahead and get this splice connection done, and we should be good to go. All right guys, now I have both splices completed. As you can see, I've cut both wires that would feed into the engine harness. I've cut them away. Now this is noted that you do this because I guess it would could potentially throw another code because of backfeeding the sensor or the signal back through these wires into the engine harness, maybe increasing the resistance and lowering the voltage and the clarity of the signal. I'm not totally sure, but basically, yeah, we just go ahead and cut them. I left them fairly long that if they have any issues, I can solder them back in and remove this later on if I have to. And I'm just gonna try everything out and get everything working properly with these splices. That's what it recommended. But as you can see, I'm not very happy with how everything is done in the wiring here with all these wiring caps. These are for like inside your house type setup. So later on, once I get everything dialed in and everything running like it should and just on point, I'm gonna come through here and probably either butt connect or solder in everything. I don't know yet, haven't decided. To be honest, I'm not sure I'm gonna be keeping the blue box that Grady supplies with the kit. I'm gonna rock it for now. I do have an AEM FIC on the shelf that I've not used or anything like that, except for in a project a long time ago, and I didn't even really finish that, so I ended up removing it. I may throw it in here because with that, I get a little bit better control. I can actually tune it for one, so I can actually, you know, put the injectors in there, remove fuel, add fuel, and I also can do ignition timing, so I can retard, you know, a degree per pound of boost, 1.5 degrees, half a degree. I can actually retard the timing, which the Grady Blue Box does not do. So I'm kind of leaning towards trying that out, but right now, for simplicity's sake, Grady designed it with the Blue Box. I just want to get it running cherry on the Blue Box and go from there. Once I get everything running like I want and everything, then I will decide what route I want to go, because I also could go, you know, like I have a chipped ECU. I could just burn a program on a chipped ECU, convert to OBD1 and do it that way. I don't know yet. I haven't decided. I will figure that out later. But that's just an easy little thing for the fix of this, hopefully. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna hook up the ECU, I'm gonna put the fuses back in, I'm gonna clear the codes if they're not cleared, and see if the check engine light goes away, because this should be the last thing I need to fix to get the check engine light reading right. I'm hoping that by doing this bypass, it gets rid of that code and just cleans up the engine, because it ran pretty good and everything, but it did have some stumbles and it did have some misfires, and I read that without this bypass, it can and will run like shit. So yeah, so we're doing the bypass and we're gonna see how it runs. All right guys, so I'm super happy so far. No check engine light. I am running the app Torque here and trying to scan codes. It's coming up with no codes, so no codes. No check engine light so far, so that's good. It still misses a little bit, but I believe that's probably due to the plugs being fouled. So really what needs to happen now is I need to get a set of plugs. My buddy who actually built this car, I got in touch with him. Surprisingly, when I posted a picture on Facebook, he's like, hey, that's my old car, and I built that, blah, blah, blah. He told me some suggestions and everything like that about what plugs he ran and everything, so I'll probably pick up a set of those, change the plugs, make sure they're gapped right and everything like that. That's just on the to-do list. I want to bleed the brakes. Not that they're spongy or anything, but the fluid's starting to change color and everything, so I want to make sure that the brake fluid is fresh. So I want to flush out the old brake fluid. I want to change the coolant, flush that out and everything like that. And I also want to add power steering back onto the vehicle, so I need to get a bracket, a pump, a pressure line, return line, and reservoir and everything like that. But that is all to come. But in the meantime, let's go look at these packages, these big boxes, the things that were delivered off a truck today in my garage. Let's go check them out. All right guys, I bet you're wondering what's in the boxes. So you know what? We're gonna tear them open and we're gonna find out. So here we go. Anybody guess what it is yet? Oh, yeah. Look at that. Look at that. So I guess you probably know what's in here. Maybe, maybe. Let's just keep getting this unpacked. cleaned up and everything, and then we will start on box number 2. Alright guys, so this is my Mayflower balancer. This is the, I think it's the 680 balancer. It's all manual, so you have to put in everything, you know, all your measurements manually. But that's no real big deal. I really don't mind and everything like that. It does do static, dynamic, center, aluminum settings. So, you know, I'm pretty happy with the options that this has, considering the price point. Obviously, this is my Mayflower 560 tire mounter, remover, installer tire machine, basically. So I got this and this. They were $1,340 shipped to my house, $1,250 plus $80 residential delivery fee, and he pretty much backed up and dropped them right here and pallet jacked them into the garage. So that was pretty awesome. But it was like $900 for this, and that's like $800. So in reality, I paid like an extra $400 for the balancer. I was just gonna get a tire machine, but I couldn't pass up the deal to get the balancer. So that is the new addition to the garage. Now obviously, you know, we got a mess to clean up. We got a lot of organizing to do. But right now, I'm pretty sure I'm just gonna mount them right here because the air line's right there, the air compressor's right there, and I'll figure it out. But there should be plenty of room to just work on right here. So I'm pretty much, I think I'm pretty much happy with just placing them here. I think that's where they're gonna go permanently. So, if you're in the Circleville, Columbus area and you're a drifter just like me and you need some tires mounted, let me know. I'll do it really cheap. You know, we can have a good time. And, you know, I do bulk tire changes, you know, and everything like that. You know, basically gonna try to pay off these machines. But no, in seriousness, you know, I pretty much figure if you're local and whatnot and you just want some tires mounted for your, you know, burners or whatnot, or take off your rims, just hit me up. Let me know. Slide in the DMs. Tell me you need some tires dismounted. I'll hook you up. Either way, let's get this tire machine out. I'm not gonna time lapse it. I'm just gonna get it out and show you it when we're done. All right guys, so I got the tire machine out. There is some assembly that needs to happen. What's kind of nice, I guess, is that everything is pretty much coated in oil. I think it's to prevent any corrosion or anything like that from forming while it sits awaiting shipment, which is cool, except for, like, I mean, everything, it's hard to see, but everything is just coated in oil. So I gotta put the duck head assembly on, which is sitting right there. I gotta put the bead breaker assembly on, which is also sitting over there. But yeah, so there's our new Mayweather. There's our new Mayweather. We got Mayweather versus the other guy. I don't know, I can't remember his name. I don't pay attention to that crap. Either way, Mayflower, mounter, tire machine, and balancer. Super happy. You know, I started thinking and everything like that. I came across these and was like, man, $1,250. You know, I mean, like when I go drifting, I may go through anywhere from 2 to 6 tires per event, and costing about 10 to 15 tires, or $10 to $15 per tire to mount. That's anywhere from 40 to 60 to 80, 90 bucks just to mount tires per event. Let's say I hit 5 events, you know, that's $500 a year in just mounting costs of tires. Not to account for, like, okay, so the RX-8 needs a tire. Well, there's the tire cost plus another $15. Okay, the truck, it needs to get tire balanced. Okay, well, there's $15 per tire. Oh, there's the Integra, it needs a new tire. Oh, there's the tire plus $15. You know, it just adds up. When you work on as many vehicles as I do and everything like that, especially with drifting, it really makes sense in about a year, maybe 2 years, especially if I got some people that come by, like my friends and whatnot, and they want just their tires changed or whatever, and I hook them up, and they hook me up a little cash. These machines will pay themselves off. And, you know, I don't see why they won't last 5, 10 years or whatever. So I think it's a great addition to the shop. I splurged a little bit on it. But it is what it is. I think it is an investment that will return some profit, but if not, it will cover the cost of itself. So that's really an awesome thing in my mind, because when I went and swapped the tires on the Integra, I noticed that whoever balanced the wheels didn't get it right, so they counterbalanced. So they did a sticky weight on the inside barrel and a clip-on the inside lip. When they balanced it, it didn't come out zero, so they just stuck another weight 180 degrees away from it on there. So there's 2 clip-ons 180 degrees away from each other. That's the lazy way of doing it, and that's the type of quality you get from lazy tire techs. Well, hello, I am not a lazy tire tech, so I can now do my own stuff and get a better result. And, you know, hey, whatever. So now I have the fun of trying to assemble this tire machine all by myself. Kind of wish I had an extra hand, but whatever. I don't think we'll actually get to operate it tonight or anything like that, but I do want to at least get it assembled, but we'll see where we go. It's getting kind of late. I've been working all day on little stuff and waiting around for the tire guy, or well, I should say the delivery guy, to bring me my tire stuff. So I'm just kind of like ready to go inside and relax. But yeah, so I'm gonna keep plugging away for a little bit, and I'll bring you back when hopefully I get this thing all assembled. Alright guys, so we have it fully installed and everything like that. So I'm super excited, super happy and everything like that to have a working tire machine. Oh, there we go. Alright, so that works. But yeah, really simple, not too bad. I pretty much just plumbed it up to this extra air line I had here, and I hooked it up to my hose reel here so I can disconnect and connect as need be. The only thing that sucks about that, and I will have to figure out, is when I disconnect it, it's going to basically bleed all the air out of here. So yeah, I'm not exactly sure what I'm going to do, because that's going to be really annoying. But I'll figure out a way to make that work more permanently later. I'm going to add a second regulator probably coming off of the filter area here, probably a 1/2 inch regulator or whatever, so that I get more volume to the tire machine, and it'll be on its own separate regulator, so it won't actually affect my hose reel pressure. But whatever, for now this will work just to test. So this pedal rotates the table, seems to work just fine. Has a forward, a backwards. Middle pedal opens up that, and the right pedal, well, you probably can't tell, but basically it closes that. So I'm gonna grab a spare wheel real quick, and I'm just gonna give it a shot, and I'm gonna see what happens, and we're gonna see if it, you know, does a decent job. Alright, so we're gonna grab one of these 17-inch wheels. We're gonna get breaker in real nice. This tire is done, as you can see. It is just pretty much wore out and everything from toe. So we're gonna give it a shot and see what happens. That was way harder than it should have been, but this tire probably hasn't been off in like 8 years or something like that. And yeah, it was really stuck on there. Plus if you look at this tire, so you can see how it's separated and everything. So the bead wasn't all the way broke, and it was kind of hard to break it because it would just fold in the sidewall. So this is just a really bad tire. Some of them are really difficult. That's why low profile tires are always a pain in the ass. But as you can see, it had plenty of power to get it off. So I'm pretty impressed. Alright guys, we got this just a used tire that I had lying around and everything. One of the ones I actually just pulled off my wife's car. We're just gonna toss it on to try it out, see how the machine works. All I got is a little soapy water to use as lube. So we're just gonna use that. And there we go. It works great. I'm a little bit rusty, just gotta get back to the swing of things. I've only done a few in a couple years, but once I get used to this machine and everything, it seems to be working great. It does everything I want to do. The electric motor seems very powerful. I mean, I used a little soap and water, and that tire slipped right on there, no issues. So, all in all, I'm extremely happy. I'm super excited to have this tire machine balancer. All right, guys. So, yeah, there it is. I got my own tire machine. I got my own balancer. I'll do a review further on these once I get them all up 100% and running. I mean, the tire machine's up and running, but the balancer's not. Plus, I got to calibrate it and everything like that. But yeah, so look forward to some more videos on these machines. We'll, you know, give them put them through their paces for a little bit, and then we can actually see how well they are. I'm excited to get used to the balancer. I'm excited to see how it works and how well it is. But I'm so far very impressed with the tire machine. So there it is, the Mayflower. You know, we're probably gonna remove that and we're gonna brand that with some ClutchKickerNation stickers and everything like that. But yeah, already got some dirt on there, you know, because we're putting it to work. But overall, yeah, I'm very happy with the air compressor. Is very capable of using this machine. Changing that tire, only lost 10 pounds of air. So that's gonna wrap it up for this video. Please like, share, and subscribe to the video. Look forward to more content. We're, you know, we're still making moves. Now we got the tire machine and balancer delivered and everything like that. We can start kind of moving some things around in the garage so we can get back to work on the S13. We do have some Civic content coming up because we're going to be working on the Civic to getting it ready for sale. Because now that we have the Integra, there's no point in me having the Civic. So yeah, and I mean, I'm super excited for this car. This car is just, I knew there was a reason why I wanted an Integra, and the more and more I look at this thing now, especially with the wheels and everything, I'm so glad I picked it up. But that's gonna wrap it up. I will see you guys on the next one.